Good evening. I hope you're doing well, everyone. I've got an absolute hack for learning for you, and that is to do with your iPad for reading and for writing. When I was younger, when I was in late high school and through university, I really struggled. I've got dyslexia, as I'm sure some of you know. I really struggled with my reading and writing, and I used a program called Read and Write Gold. And that program allowed me to select text and listen to it back, and it allowed me to use my voice to actually dictate stories, which was fantastic. But now, technology is such that actually on your phones, on your tablets, you have the power to do this without having to get special programs. And it's really, really helpful, especially if you find that later at night your brain's getting a bit tired and you just can't concentrate on what you've been given. Or maybe reading is tricky for you, as it is for me. Maybe writing's tricky for you. Well, there's no reason that that should actually hold you back in this day and age because you've got technology that can really help you. And so today I want to show you how to use that. So for this, I've got my iPad. As I say, you can do this on an iPhone, and I'm sure there are ways of doing it on an Android device. I just don't really use Android, so I don't know what those ways are. What you need to do is go into settings first of all. You need to set this up. It doesn't automatically happen. So you go into settings, go down to accessibility. It's on the left-hand side, 4 down from general. Click on accessibility, and we're going to go to the spoken content section. You click on spoken content, you'll see I've already got some of this set up. I've got quite a few of these turned on. So speak selection, the top one, I would recommend having that on, even if you don't use it often, because whenever you highlight a word or a phrase or a paragraph, you get the option for the iPad to read it to you. So say there's a word you just don't know what it says. Hold your finger on it to highlight that word, press speak, and it will read it to you. Simple. Speak screen. This gives you the option to actually swipe down from the top of the screen with 2 fingers to hear the whole screen read to you. So if say you've got a big story, a big essay or something written on your screen, you can swipe down and the iPad will read it to you. And while it'll sound a bit robotic, it won't sound perfect, it gives you a good overview of what was actually being said, which is really, really helpful for then when you come back to read it yourself, you've got a good idea of how it flows and what it sounds like. I tend to leave speech controller off, but feel free to experiment with that. Highlight content, it highlights what it's reading when it's reading. Some people like that. Personally, I find it distracting. Typing feedback, I love typing feedback. I don't use it all the time. I come in and out to turn it on and off depending on whether I need it or want it. But if you go in there and don't do characters or character hints because that's sort of every second you hear something, but if you turn on speak words, what happens is as soon as you've typed a word and you press space or press enter or put in a full stop or an exclamation mark, it will read you that word so you know what you've written. So you'll know if you've made a mistake then with a simple error. Obviously, words that look and sound the same, they won't be impacted by this, but in general, it lets you see if you've made typos. And equally, down at the bottom, hold to speak predictions. You know when you're typing on a phone or on an iPad and it comes up at the bottom with 3 different words, and these are options that you might be thinking about. They're the predictions. So if you think that one of them might be the word that you're looking for, hold your finger on it, it'll read it to you, and then you know if that's the word or not. So they're the things that I would turn on in the spoken content. Down a bit further, you've got voices. You can choose, if you go into English, you can choose different English voices, whichever one you find easiest to listen to. I've just kept it on Daniel, but I've made it the enhanced Daniel. Speaking rate, generally that wants to stay around the centre. It wants to stay about 50%. I've got mine slightly less than 50% because I find 50% is actually a wee bit too quick. But you'll see why we don't have it on full speed. Because it does that. But if I have it on slow speed...
Speak selection, read
oh, wow, you don't want it there.
content.
So I tend to put mine up about the 45.
Speak selection, read selected content.
Maybe a wee bit more.
Speak selection, read selected content.
Okay, and then down at pronunciations at the very bottom, that's where you can add in different pronunciations, but generally I leave that. So why is this important? Why is this powerful? If I go into Pages, let's just go into a Pages document. So I've already typed something pre-doing this because this is about the 50th take of doing this video because my camera keeps on dying. So I've got some things here. If I just highlight, these words, oopsies, you'll now see that the option for speak comes up. It's beside cut, copy, delete, speak. If I press on that,
let us know what you think of this. Working with the voice on really helps us when we make mistakes.
so that's it. It just reads it to you. Again, it's that kind of mechanical voice, not to everyone's taste. You can change the voice, but that's me just highlighted that. Let's just highlight one word. Say I don't know this word. I highlight it, press speak.
Working.
And it tells me the word. If I am typing, now remember I turned on my, what was it? Oh, I've forgotten the one way you're typing anyway. I've turned it on. Let's see.
I've turned on the typing opinion.
So I made a mistake there. Instead of putting option, I wrote opinion. So I know that that's wrong because it read it to me. So option.
Option.
There we are. And you heard that when I put in the full stop as well, it reread the word. So that's really, really helpful. For the suggestions down at the bottom, it's got some predictions. Let's just... I highlighted it and it put it in.
This.
So it puts it in after you've highlighted it, but at least it reads it to you first, and you can delete it if it's not the one you want. So that's brilliant for them. What about if I swipe down with 2 fingers from the top?
Blank 15. Body. Let us know what you think of this. Working with the voice on really helps us when we make mistakes. I've turned on the typing option.
So you can hear it read me the page. Now, it read the title, which was blank 15, and then it told me that it was doing the text body at that point. It wasn't doing a title, for example. So that's what it said there. That's why it said blank 15 body, but you get used to that. Imagine if you've got this huge, huge page of information. You don't want to have to highlight the whole thing. So actually, that's easier. And for some websites, highlighting text is a bit tricky. Let's go into Seesaw just now. I think I've got the demo page open in Seesaw. Yeah, I do. So I've got the demo class here. I made a demonstration note. So I can, if I want, click on the note. Let's say my teacher's left me. Highlight. Say speak.
This is a demonstration note. It should read out whenever you read the screen or select it.
Okay, now because I've gone into Seesaw, it's automatically defaulted to an American voice. That's fine. I'll go with that. Comments are a lot trickier to select, especially if you've pressed on them. So what you want to do for that, if I just do my 2-finger swipe down from the top, if it'll let me.
Mr. Feist, 152.
Oh,
Teacher
so many
17
notifications.
classes. Journal. Monday, the 1st of February.
So you can see where we're getting to. It's reading down the
List
page.
mode icon default. Sample S for Friday 22nd. This is a demonstration note. It should read out whenever you
so
read
this
the
takes
screen or
absolutely
select
ages
it.
to get through. But I
Mr.
can
Feist,
open
this
this
is a demo class.
and I can
Mr.
skip.
Feist,
I can
demo
skip to the
teacher,
part that I want it to
journal,
read.
Activities, inbox, skills, sample
And you can
student,
change the speed on this as well.
One item.
So, okay, it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. That was clunky to read through all of that. But the point is, it's there. If you imagine if you've got a website of information that you've been asked to read, and reading it, there's lots of words there that are tricky. You can just swipe down with 2 fingers, or you can highlight the text that you want it to read. It's really, really good to have. And if I was to open up the comments, it makes it easier as well. Again, I would have to go into edit comment if it's something I've done and select it that way for it to read. So if I just hold, press select all and speak.
This is a demonstration comment. I hope this reads as well.
Okay, so that's one I put. That's trickier to do. But truthfully, if you're worried when it comes to commenting on Seesaw, you can just press the microphone and just say your comment. And I'm sure lots of teachers are doing the same. But how good is that? So the next thing I want to do is show you dictation on the iPad. And dictation is where you get to use your voice to write things. So if I head back over onto that Pages document that I have, you can see on the keyboard, I've turned off the Bluetooth keyboard for this, you can see on the keyboard the third one at the bottom is a dictation option. Now, if you don't have that, you need to activate it. So go into Settings, go into General, which is over here, and then down to Keyboard. And at the bottom of Keyboard, second bottom one, it says Enable Dictation. And that's what you want to have. You can sort anything else. You might not want to have things like this floating keyboard. It gets in people's way. Dictation is what you want there. So I go into Pages, And again, this is something else that's so simple to use, and it can be used on anything where you've got that keyboard. If you're using a keyboard like this though, it won't have the dictation button, so you kind of want to use the iPad built-in keyboard if you're dictating. So if I click on that button, this is me dictating my text.
A.
Full stop.
Text. 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 Text.
And something you really want to do, which I hadn't thought of, and I'm so glad I just did this on camera, you want to turn off that reading every single word, because what it's done there is it's heard itself and it's repeated and repeated on dictation. So let's sort that. That's what I call a fail. I like a fail. If you've watched this far, you can laugh at me in the comments, please do. You want to go back into accessibility, go into spoken content, go into typing feedback, and turn off speak words, and let's try it again. So let's delete what I just wrote. That was a good job, Donald. Well done. Right, take 2. Press the dictation button. This is me dictating a text. Full stop. You note that if I say it to do punctuation, comma, it will insert the punctuation. Full stop. I can't undo something that I've written, but I can go back later on, double tap on it, and delete it if I've made a mistake. Full stop. So let's see how that did. You can already see that some grammatical errors there in what I've said, absolutely fine. I can sort them later, the wee blue lines, but if I highlight that and I press speak.
This is me dictating a text. You note that if I say to do punctuation, it will insert the punctuation. I can't undo you something that I've written, but I can go back later on, double tap on it and delete it if I've made a mistake.
Okay, so I heard a couple of mistakes there. Actually, I think if I go back into my speak options in settings, I would slow down that a bit. But I said I can't undo, and this is one of the blue things it's written. It said undo. So if you notice, I've just tapped on it and it's got undo, but I can check if that was the mistake. Let's press speak.
Undo.
Undo. It sounds right. So some of us might struggle with that, but you want to click then on the change. Also, it didn't stop at this full stop, and that's because there was no space after it. You note that if I'm happy with note there, and then there was another, but I can go back later on double tap on it. That was supposed to be and. So I'm just going to put in and there. But actually, how quick was that? I mean, you've still got to, don't get me wrong, you've still got to proofread your work. You can proofread either with your own eyes or with the speak option or with a combination of both. You've still got to write. I mean, this is storytelling from your heart. It's the same as putting it through my fingers, but I'm putting it through my voice. And you've got all of these options open to you. If you're at home and you're finding it a bit trickier to work, if you're just finding this is all getting too much and you're getting this fatigue, you're getting down about it, don't. Step back. The most important thing is your creativity when it comes to writing. And the most important thing is your enjoyment when it comes to reading and your understanding of what you're reading. Why not use these tools? Don't feel afraid or ashamed of using it, because actually lots of us do. Loads of people who you'll see on, well, celebrities, anyone on social media that you follow, a lot of them do actually use these tools to support them. Why shouldn't you? So that's my wee video for tonight. A little tip on how to use these tools to listen back, to hear the work that you've done, to hear things that people have signposted you to, and also to use your voice to write. And you're not cheating by doing it. Don't ever think that you are. This, in a sense, is helping you get out your story. Just remember to keep practice with the handwriting as well, because honestly, from a dyslexic point of view, learning that cursive handwriting really helps. You learn words as patterns and pictures rather than just as individual shapes and letters. So do keep practicing, but also use this to help you. I hope that's been helpful, and please remember, take care, stay safe. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.